Hey guys, Tito James here. Welcome back to the channel where we take awesome out of the box. In this one, we're talking about the Asus Zenfone 8 Flip. So just a quick history lesson, Zenphones have a special place in my heart because when I started at Unbox PH, the Zenfone 2 was pretty much the phone to get. But I'm here to share with you guys, my hijos and hijas, what my favorite features that you might flip over or what are kind of a flop. Let's go. So the first thing to talk about here is the design of the phone itself, and the flip factor of the cameras gives you an all-screen display that we don't really see on phones nowadays, which is a plus. Sadly though, the super glossy finish on the back just doesn't do it for me. Now I know it's a very minor thing that will completely depend on what you like, but personally I like matte finishes for more premium devices such as this one. Thankfully though, Asus does provide a great looking case for this device which you can slap on for that added protection and get rid of those smears and smudges. Bonus feature is that the case also has a locking mechanism for the camera so it doesn't flip out in your pocket should you accidentally activate it in your pocket. Other than that, I think the phone feels great in hands, the buttons are tactile, and I love the nice little touch of blue on the power button as well. Now my absolute favorite thing about the Zenfone 8 Flip has to be its screen and its speakers. A bit of a downside here is that if you're looking for faster refresh rates, this is capped at 90Hz, but you know me, I prefer display quality over 120Hz panel any day. The fact that you're getting a crispy AMOLED panel here is great for someone like me who spends most of his time watching videos on his smartphone. It makes all the difference. Add to the fact that you've got really great sounding stereo speakers with this smartphone, it makes all the difference. Here's a quick sample. By the way, a quick shout out to all the former members of my band back in the day. So the display and speakers are actually my favorite feature on the Zenfone 8 Flip. More than the cameras, we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about the internals first. And I seriously can't complain about the hardware that the Zenfone 8 Flip has under the hood. It has the best of the best in terms of processing power. Right now you have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 that's paired with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. So daily tasks with this shouldn't be a problem at all, and gaming on this has been incredible as well. I've been enjoying Diablo Immortal on this and it runs smoothly on the highest settings with 60 FPS. You get a few jerks here and there, but I think that's more of the game's fault at this point since it is still in closed beta. But yeah, in terms of power, this is the best of the best, guys. But for good measure, in case you're into the numbers, here are some charts that we shared in our first impressions on the website compared to other devices such as the ROG Phone 5 plus the Xiaomi Mi 11. As you can see, the performance is definitely what we've come to expect from the hardware that this phone has. Another plus is that Zen UI has really gone from the bloatware infested mess it was a few years back to something more sleek and streamlined. Of course, we can't not talk about the battery life of the Zenfone 8 Flip. It has a 5000 mAh capacity and it has the endurance to last at least a day and a half with how I use devices. It also clocked in a decent time with our battery benchmarks as well that does reflect my real-world use. In terms of charging times, you're not seeing something crazy. After all, the included power brick inside the box is only at 30 watts. It'll take about 2 hours to 2 hours and a half to fully charge this smartphone. Now it's finally time to talk about the main highlight for this smartphone, its cameras. Now, if you just look at the spec sheet, yes, it is using the same system as last year's model, which kind of plays in our favor, I guess, because we hadn't had a Zenfone in the Philippines for the longest time. As a recap, we have a 64 megapixel main camera, a 13 megapixel ultra wide, an 8 megapixel telephoto. I'll have all the important specs up on screen, but it's backed by some pretty great sensors too. Overall, I am happy with the output of these shooters. You get a lot of detail and the resulting colors from their software enhancements aren't too bad, If you like taking selfies, then I'm sure you'll appreciate the fact that the rear cameras are also your selfie cameras for this smartphone, so you could potentially get great self-snaps. Yes, it is a bit of a bummer or a con that you're not getting OIS on any of these cameras, so low-light shots won't be as good as other devices that have it, so you really have to play to its strengths and know its weaknesses. Now, on the video side of things, you can shoot up to 8K footage, but remember, no OIS, so it's gonna be shaky as hell. Now you can turn on hyper steady to get really smooth shots, but you're gonna be locked to 1080p and there is a bit of a crop. So what you're seeing is footage from the main camera and it's basically just all my fat face in a mask, but it does get a bit better when you use the ultra wide, which is what I suggest you use if you're planning to vlog on the move. Now because the cameras can flip, it is in the name after all, Asus also put things like motion tracking as a feature, which is great, but don't expect the tracking to be completely smooth, and from what we've tried, the things you're trying to keep in frame shouldn't be too fast either. Now I'm sure you've already seen it, but you can put the cameras in preset angles, which can be useful, but to be honest with you guys, I didn't really use it all that much. Understandably, there is some concern about the flip out mechanism of this smartphone. Again, I completely get it guys, but they do have some safeguards. The accelerometer on this device will try and quickly flip the cameras back into its original position. It works quite well and should protect the cameras from a drop from hip distance. But yeah, I totally get it. The fact that this has more moving parts than your standard smartphone makes me a little worried, but I'm sure that Asus tested this out extensively and the case should absorb some of the impact. Okay, so big question, is the Asus Zenfone 8 Flip worth its $39,995 price tag here in the Philippines? Personally, I think it is, but I wouldn't just get it for its cameras. The combination of its internals plus the experience of an all-screen display plus the speakers makes this a really great device in my opinion. To be honest with you guys, I was expecting them to price this around 50,000 pesos, so I did think that they priced this out right. Like I said, I wouldn't solely get this smartphone just for the cameras. The Flip does contribute to that all-screen display experience, but remember, this has no OIS, so if you're really particular with the shots that you take for your smartphone, that could be a make or break for you. That being said though, if you take a lot of selfies or shoot content for TikTok, then the Zenfone 8 Flip could be a great option for you. So there you have it, my EOS and EHAS. Those are my thoughts on the Asus Zenfone 8 Flip. Let me know what you think by giving us a like, subscribe to the channel of course, and hit that notification bell. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can. For all the latest in tech, head to Unbox PH and of course follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and we now have a podcast up on Spotify. I'll leave all the links down below. Anyway, my name is Tito James. Peace, God bless. See you guys next time, and of course, stay safe.